They say Derry is just a town, but those who've lived here, they know better. It starts with a whisper, a shadow in the cold, a voice calling from the pipes, and a balloon that shouldn't float. People vanish.
Before the screams, before the clown, there was Derry, and it was already hungry.
Children disappear, but no one remembers. Because in Derry, forgetting is how you survive. The evil here doesn't chase you. It waits for you, sleeps beneath your feet. Before the clown wore the smile, the town already knew how to feed, and now it's hungry again. Welcome to Derry. So with all that in mind, let's get started. It means a lot to me. And now let's analyze. Welcome to Derry. Now that we know there is a prequel series to IT coming out, what better time to make an in-depth analysis of the first trailer? I'm here to help you understand and appreciate art. And today, we're going to look at this trailer, which was released last year and is still very mysterious. Let's break down the details. First off, we have the genre of this show, which is listed as horror, mystery, and the supernatural. That last one tells us the most important thing, that this is a part of Stephen King's multiverse, meaning we can expect similar elements to other King stories, which is exciting. The setting is the 1960s, which is perfect because it takes place about 30 years before IT, Chapter 1. But it isn't during Pennywise's active feeding cycle. And now, let's go through the trailer scene by scene. First, we start with the opening scene. I didn't include this scene in my notes because it isn't actually in Derry yet, but it's worth looking at as it helps set the tone. We hear a cold wind blowing. There is no dialogue, just a haunting silence, showing us this is a small town with little people and few cars. A boy walks alone, which immediately makes us paranoid and worried he's going to walk into danger. As he continues walking, he starts shivering, showing how cold it is outside. Then an older man approaches him and says, "You poor thing, get in before you catch your death of cold." He offers the kid a ride, but I think it's clear he's up to no good. That's a classic horror trope. You always got to watch out for creepy adults, especially in Derry-based horror. The last thing he says, "Catch your death of cold," is interesting. It could be a symbolic foreshadowing of some characters literally catching their death later on. Next, we hear a voice saying, "Now, you just tell us where home is." Anywhere but Derry. Here, the name Derry itself sounds scary. It's almost a character in King's universe. This line implies that Derry is a cursed place, and the people there are afraid to admit it, so they send their kids away, hoping to protect them from whatever is inside Derry. Next, we see a new family arriving in town. The man says, "My family and I just moved to town." I love how we haven't seen Derry itself yet. All we've seen is the road leading into it. Every shot has been carefully chosen to put suspense into the audience. Finally, we see the town sign reading Derry, Maine. I kept waiting for this moment. Now the title card appears along with the release date. 2024 is when we will learn more. The next scene reads, "Today was 4 months, and they never even found a body." This refers to the missing kids in Derry, a main plot point in IT. When Beverly Marsh moves to town, she becomes aware of many children who have vanished. Two of the most famous cases are Tony and William Tozier, brothers who went missing in 1958, and Georgie Denbrough, who disappeared in 1984 after Pennywise took him through a storm drain. All these unsolved mysteries suggest Pennywise, or the evil entity living in Derry, is already awake and working. This takes place in the 1960s, long before the Losers Club. The missing children hint at the darkness brewing beneath Derry's surface. It shows that Pennywise has been active for quite a while. And since this show is called Welcome to Derry, it might focus on early sightings of Pennywise. Next, we have a woman speaking. "This business with the missing kids, do I need to be concerned?" This shows how in Derry, adults tend to ignore or deny supernatural events. They refuse to listen to the kids, which leads to more tragedies. This is another classic king trope. Only children can see and fight the true horror. The adults are either too scared or manipulated by the evil entity to take action. Now we see the father lying down, moaning. He could be dying or being attacked. We don't know for sure. This establishes stakes in the story. The family could be in danger, especially if the father gets hurt. This could motivate the child to uncover the truth about Derry and stop whatever is haunting them. Next, we have a quick montage of different scenes. There's a history of stuff like this happening in Derry. This confirms we'll see Pennywise's past cycles of terror, possibly stretching to the early 20th century or even before. As a viewer, I'm excited to see the origin of this creature. Will we find out why it comes back every 27 years? What brought it to Derry in the first place? How did it gain its form-shifting powers? Is there a way to defeat it permanently? These questions have kept fans theorizing for years. Maybe we'll finally get answers in this series. In this next scene, we see a man running in a panic. What do we do? He looks terrified. This adds to the mystery of Derry. There seems to be something chasing the townspeople, something unknown and horrifying. Then we see the ground shaking and the floorboards creaking, suggesting a giant creature moving around underneath the town. This ties into the sewer imagery. Pennywise lives in the tunnels below Derry. His movements can shake the ground above. Then we hear, "I heard voices in the pipes," which ties into the sewer imagery. Pennywise often communicates through pipes, drains, and toilets. His voice can drive people insane. Finally, we hear manic laughter. It sounds like Pennywise, but we never see him in this trailer. He could be hiding in the background of some scenes, but I think the idea is to keep him mysterious for now. The laughing makes me think of Georgie. That's probably when he realized he had no way out. Now let's talk about the visuals. First, we hear screaming underwater. This brings up images of drowning and blood. Perhaps it alludes to Georgie's death when Pennywise pulled him into the drain. The image of a boat floating in the water hints at a funeral procession. Maybe they were laying someone to rest. Next, we hear maniacal laughter, which implies Pennywise is near. He tends to laugh a lot, especially when he's having fun. I think this laughter is the closest thing to Pennywise that we get in the trailer. Finally, we see a person running away in a panic. This evokes classic Derry scenes, maybe a vision of the Losers Club fleeing from Pennywise. It suggests there will be plenty of chase scenes in the series. Throughout the trailer, we hear distorted music playing over the images. This creates a disturbing atmosphere. For example, "In Your Head" and "You'll Be Free." The contrast between the upbeat or nostalgic music and the terrifying imagery creates a sense of psychological horror. Using happy tunes with scary images is a signature style for IT. Think of the dancing clown or Pennywise holding balloons. The show might mix innocence with terror to unsettle viewers. If you watched until now, thank you, I really appreciate it. Now let's move on to the last thing we'll discuss, which is the overall tone. The trailer feels menacing and suspenseful. It leaves many questions unanswered, which is smart. Viewers will want to tune in to find out more. I think the trailer does a great job building anticipation. As far as theories, I think this series will explain more about Pennywise, his origins, how he came to be in Derry, how he became connected to the cosmos, how he shifts forms, what exactly he is, where he goes when he leaves Derry, if he has any brothers or sisters. Also, there are loads of deadlights scattered throughout King's multiverse. If this theory is true, we should see them appear in the show. Maybe they'll be used as a portal for Pennywise to travel. Pennywise awakens every 27 years. This show likely depicts one of his earlier feeding cycles. He's been trapped in Derry for a while, but how did he get there? This series should provide more backstory. We should learn more about his connection to the cosmic horror and the deadlights. possibly exploring his origin within King's larger multiverse. So what do you think? Are you excited for Welcome to Derry? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.